Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. 31 years ago, I started doing these seminars this month. And when I saw a few of you on your one-on-one time, if you believe in Darwin's theory of natural selection, you'd think that the people would be different 31 years later, wouldn't you? Same fucking stupid questions. As I told a couple of the ethnicities that saw me earlier today, of which they are both from lazy cunt groups, that the success ratios are lower for their ethnicities. They both looked at me in awe. How many times have I said it on the seminar YouTubes? A jillion, 50 million, 50,000. That certain ethnicities and certain work groups, lawyers, accountants, etc., this is harder for, haven't I? But when I say it on YouTube, it's a statistic. When I say it to you, it's 100%. There's no celebratory thing because I'm starting I just finished my 31st year of doing this. And that in all these years, I think I've said it several times in the last year or so, I've only had one good question. One good question, of which I don't tell you what that question is. I'm waiting for somebody to repeat it. It'll probably be another 30 years before I hear it again. And that all the questions are either directly or indirectly based on your insecurity and the fact, not for the young lady, you have no cojones, no balls. You're afraid. And I said it 2 or 3 seminars ago, we had a Norwegian guy, rich guy, and he married a woman about 25, 30 years his junior. And he thought he had plenty of money to live out his life and provide for her when he's gone. But as he said on the one-on-one time, this is 3 seminars ago, I was wrong. And I'm coming back to work. I've got to build a new fortune. I didn't know. I heard all the stories he's telling me. I heard all the stories about 25 years difference in age, yada, 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 yada. She's going to fuck you to death, yada, yada. And that's what I was hoping, actually. And but I didn't think I'd run out of money. My banker said I wouldn't run out of money. My accountant said I wouldn't run out of money. My kids said I would run out of money. And so he came back to the seminar. And by the way, he's doing very well. He's done several acquisitions. But during the celebration of the graduation night, you go around and, you have a few drinks and you feel more, I don't know what you feel. And so somebody asked me the question as we're sitting in the library, which you will, assuming you lasted through the week, about being afraid. And so I said, let's ask the guy, a guy 67 years old, let's ask the gentleman from Norway, who now retires in Italy, what is the real thing they're asking? And he stood up and he said, very articulately, with a slight Norwegian accent, you're all afraid that you can't perform, no matter how many webinars Mr. Peña shows you. That's not you. And for those of you that are here, and you all know all the material is on the website. There's a couple of things that are not on the website, but if you're really, really good at finding stuff on the website, on the internet, and on the black web, even the dialogues, the speeches, the cue cards are on the black web, if you can find it. But you're here because you want another check mark to hope that you can perform. And most of you won't. I normally say this at the end, so this is kind of my celebration. 2 of you will hit it out of the park. Grand slam, home run, or knock it for 6, to use cricket terms, 2 of you. Not right away. Sometimes it takes a long time, but 2 of you. And 4 of you will create generational wealth in 2 to 5 years. That's it. The rest 19 of you will increase your net worth, but not generational wealth. I haven't looked at your finances again before I walked over here. It would be disingenuous for me to say that some of you aren't in the fucking hole. Negative net worth. But that's norm. That's the norm. The fact that we have only one lady here today is about the norm. We normally have two. Okay. But I'm going to tell a story, and I just had coffee with one of our, and she sat right there where you are, Pendejo. Okay, right there, about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I didn't find this out until after the seminar was gone and everybody had gone home. But about the third day of the seminar, and she repeated it to me in Las Vegas having a coffee at the Wynn Hotel, where I was with 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was there. And during the seminar, about the third day, she gets an emergency call from Kim. We don't take emergency calls unless you're dying. And she got brought into Kim's office, and it was her mother calling her, had tracked her down from, she used to work at the Bellagio Hotel, and telling her, you didn't tell me where you're going, you this and that, this and that. And I said, well, there's never a good, easy time to make a hard decision, Mom, but this is the last time you're ever going to talk to me. And she fell and had a heart attack. I would have jerked off on the table if I had known that during the fucking seminar. But I find out the next seminar. So I ask her, is that true? She says, yeah. Why didn't you tell me? Oh, I felt embarrassed. Now what do you think? I should have given her a heart attack sooner. The most toxic person in most of your lives is your mother. Especially you, pendejo. And once you can swallow that pill, for some of you, it's not a pill. For some of you know, but you won't admit it. The next most toxic person in your life is your significant other. And now they're called partners, right? Or they're called whatever you call it, you know, the flabby ass that you sleep next to. That's the most likely second in line to be the most toxic person in your life. So 2 or 3 of you said, do you really mean you got to get rid of? Yeah. That's why. If you want the highest probability, the best chance of using these steps to create generational wealth, some of which are billionaires. Did you count the Hispanics up on the fucking wall? Okay, none. But that's the reality. And when I said this 31 years ago at the Sheraton Hotel in Los Angeles, California, on May 23rd, we had 60 people in the seminar. They paid $1,000 each. I thought I was going to, 60 grand a day? In those days, I could do 300 seminars a year. I was wrong. Because as I'm going to say at least 50 to 100 times this week, if you follow the steps, and then about the second or third day, some genius in the crowd, maybe you, is going to figure out, what the fuck's the old fuck talking about? Why does he keep repeating if you follow the steps? Because you're not. Just like I took a shit this afternoon, and he's got a bald head, you're not. You're not. How can you say that, Dan? You created all these jillion, but I started with 82 jillion, and I only got 1 jillion. So as a batting average, I'm fucked. A vast majority of the people don't make it. Because you can't follow the steps. Now, he looks like a studious kid, doesn't he? He's not going to follow the steps. And then we got Darth Vader back here trying to pretend somebody he's not with the black glasses. He's not either. Maybe Chrome Dome here might. And you're not going to follow the steps because some of you know, if my grandparents didn't accomplish anything, I asked you, what's the highest performance thing? Your grandparents, right? What's the highest performance? Your parents. Your brother, sister. 0, 0, 0, and 0. Even in new math, is still fucking 0. And down deep inside, in the deep crevices of your fucking, what you call a brain, you know that. So you already know the odds are against you. You didn't have to come and pay. Somebody told me how much it was. I thought it was a lot more than that. We got to up the prices my last year. But for those that are willing to sacrifice and follow the steps, the sky's the limit. You're going to listen to between 12 and 17 people in webinars this week, depending on how cunty you are as a group. And you're going to be able to judge yourself. Am I more like this guy, this guy, this gal, this guy? A few years ago, we had a MBA from J.P. Morgan, a woman, Vietnamese, who said at the end, who do you think that you're most like? She said Steve Jobs. Now, they say, I don't remember this. I went unconscious. They say I flew over this, like where this black guy's standing, onto her, and I started choking her right there. The only thing that she had in common with Steve Jobs is maybe one of the hookers that he fucked in his youth was her mother. Because you're delusional. So we knock a lot of the delusion, but just if you follow the steps, not when you follow the steps, because that would be a lie. If you follow the steps, you've got a pretty good chance of making a lot of money. A lot of money. Somebody asked me earlier, how do you get on the Hall of Fame? 10 million in EBITDA or 100 million, whichever comes first. Sounds easy, doesn't it? During this week, we're going to have one new inductee to the Hall of Fame. And one of you in the group was sent by him, Jason Nagy. He's been overdue for the Hall of Fame at least 3 years, but I finally convinced him on a phone call, a Zoom call a few days ago, to allow me to put his name or picture on the wall. Any questions? Good. Oh, okay. Are you an artiste?
Yes, I am.
That's too bad. You got almost zero chance. Go ahead.
So would you say that the scripts are more like algorithms?
No. The scripts are, you're going to get, well, a 3x5 card, but no, on a thumb drive. It's not a 3x5 card. You put it on a 3x5 card, and it says when you're talking to, when you're looking for warming up banks, when you're looking for accountants, when you're looking for lawyers, when you're looking for a chairman, when you're looking for a CEO, when you're looking, etc., there are scripts. There are 2 to 4 scripts for every position that you will seek to fill. Don't change a fucking comma. If there's a dangling participle or a split infinitive, which most of you morons don't know what I'm talking about, don't change it. The only language it has some difficulty translating into is Arabic. All the other languages known to, and including Farsi, are pretty close, 90-95% accurate. But if you follow the steps, one of the steps is when you go home, and you're going to hear it from some of the webinar superstars, they're going to say, I spent half a day or a day and a half going through all my notes, categorizing them and translating them into the language that I'm going to be giving them in. Okay? They then correlate that outline with the thumb drive. The thumb drive is not in numerical order or alphabetical order. It's all over the place, so you have to look and keep looking to find the answer to your questions. And so if you have 50 questions, you're going to have to go through the thumb drive, I don't know, 10, 20, 1,000 gigs, 10, 20, 30, 40 times. And that's my methodology that has worked very successfully for 30 years on having you learn once you leave the program. Leave the seminar. But it's not easy. And when you start hearing the kids starting tomorrow, and they tell you, it's not easy, but it's easy if you follow the steps. And every one of them, and about half of them are going to say, and I'm not trying to be a deity up here, are going to tell you, follow Dan's word like the word of God. Because I'm telling you what the Lord knows about this. Because there's nobody even remotely close to my having my success. Yet you won't. And when we talk about emotional baggage, it starts tonight and continues through the week. A lot of you guys, and the one gal, I'm just not going to say gal, just all you guys have a lot of emotional baggage. starting with your mom. You're the average of the 5 people you spend most of the time with up till now. We've got a couple, 3 in their low 20s. We've got a couple in their early 50s. So who have you spent the most time, average of the 5? Now, the youngster is probably a mom, maybe a part-time dad. He may or may not have been there. Maybe an older brother or sister. Maybe one grandparent. And the schmuck that lives next door to you that you call his best friend. Or something, some combination thereof. Well, what the fuck do any of those 5 that I just alluded to have to do with training, breeding, high-performance people? Nothing. So you're fucked. Now, you multiply that times 10 to the 10th, and we've got ethnicities that make it worse. And every ethnicity is the power of squaring it. Some of your ethnicities in this room have no chance, 0. But we still produce Hall of Fame people. Because they want to be there more than they want to be loved by their mother. Most of you are an accident, even though a lot of you said you weren't an accident. I don't believe that. And you'll answer some questions later in the week, and then you'll say, gee, I guess I am an accident. And don't go home and ask your mother, am I an accident? But to the extent that you ever talk to your father again, or if you even know who your father is, hey, was I on purpose? And the universal answer is, and that means no. See, but down deep inside, you know all this shit. But I'm the only one that scrapes it up and puts it in your face and makes you swallow it. Duncan, hit it.